Sat in my little man cave in Manchester, United Kingdom. I've been playing around with the online broadcast system. I've been playing around with the YouTube settings, and it appears I know what I'm doing. Who'd have thought it? I've done some streaming in my time on Twitch, but here I am, ready to go. Although Full Force Podcast is live right now as well, and I was just having hey Curtis, I was just having a quick look. A quick glance over on his side, and his thumbnail seems to imply that he's got more promo pictures that he put out on Instagram. So I've been over to the Full Force Podcast Diagnostic 80s Instagram and robbed his pics. I mean, grabbed them with full accreditation in his direction. But then in his thumbnail, it looks like he's got another doc picture. So I might be talking about some stuff now, and then we find out in half an hour's time I'm already out of date. Tat Tat Toys has pre-ordered 15 classified 60th anniversary action soldiers. He loves a good army builder. 15 of them? How have you even got the space for 15 of them? And how many other army builders have you already got that you're then going to try and add those other 15 into the collection? I can't. I mean, my display space, some of you folks will have heard me mention, I've just got that shelf at the top there and a few gaps in this IKEA unit. And my shelves over there. So everything's all in boxes down here. And I just switch it out all the time. It's fun though. So I did a bit of, I've just switched it out this weekend. So I took them down, give the shelves a bit of a dust and to keep things, nice and neat and tidy and in good order. Got the old dusting cloth out and the polish. And I thought, all right, well, there's no time like the present to swap the display out. So I've, my G.I. Joes, I've got Cobra out there. I've gone for a villains theme because on my Marvel Legends little stack at the far end, you can just see Mystique there. I've gone for the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants types. Hey, Eric's here as well. The whole gang. So this is encouraging because you've all chosen to come and watch me talk live for a little bit rather than go over and check out people like the Full Force Podcast, which warms my heart. So the plan is, if I've done this right, I'm hopefully going to be able to switch over to another screen in a moment and get the pictures up that everybody, Full Force Podcast, Chaz the Guru, have got rolling around on Instagram, the leaks for tomorrow's pre-orders. And, we'll have a bit of a chat about it. I'll share some thoughts. You guys can share some thoughts in chat, and we'll just gas it over for, I don't know, should we go for what, about 45 minutes? Go for an hour, something like that? Although it occurs to me, one of the things I've not done is I've not put the original digital render, because it might be a nice idea to do a side-by-side comparison, but I'll get that lined up for next time. So are you ready? I'm going to press the button now. Let's see if it works. Hey, it works. There we go. I'm going to move myself over here a little bit so that I'm not I'm not obscured by the screen. So, as we all know, or I know you guys know, certainly the Joe Bros from Discord will be aware. So tomorrow night is the stream, but there's been the leaks. Hit the socials for tomorrow night's pre-orders. I'm pretty confident that that's not the sum total of what we're going to get on tomorrow night's stream. It seems that the pattern historically has been that you'll get some name-only reveals, and then we'll have a couple more digital renders perhaps, and then they'll get into their little turntable and show us these guys that we've had the pictures for already. So while I'm here live chatting with you guys about what's going to be revealed with regards to the leaks, I'm pretty confident that we're going to be seeing some other stuff. So I know there's been a bit of chat for the Joe Bros from Discord. I know there's already been a bit of chat in this space, but let me know. It's on that side of the screen for me. I don't know where you're doing your chat, wherever. But let me know what your predictions are for perhaps a bit of digital renders, and we can have a look at those in a second. But let's have a look at the pickies, shall we? So who have I gone for first? I've gone for Torch. And I was looking at the digital render of Torch and comparing it to this, the full three-dimensional Torch in plastic form. And I revisited some of my notes from my comments when I did the digital render reveal kind of run-through on the channel. And I have to say, I'm very pleased to see that some of the stuff I was hoping for and expecting in terms of the sculpt detail has come fully to life in the full three-dimensional plastic Torch form that they're going to be showing us tomorrow, because all that the chains, the buckles, the belt, everything seems to be sculpted, paint applied, all done up with that level of detail that we were hoping for and anticipating from the digital render. The only thing really that stands out to me there when comparing it to the digital render that I don't think looks quite as sexy and exciting is that skull with the flaming eyeballs on the end of his flamethrower torch there. Doesn't look quite as exciting, but I've not set this up on my iPad, so we can't zoom in, but that may well just be the nature of the promo shot and the angle they've taken it from, and when you look at the torch down the barrel, it will be as intimidating and as interesting a sculpt as we hoped for from the digital renders we've seen. Eric's pleased he's got the backpack. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice package altogether there, isn't it? You've got the, I think the flamethrower just looks great, and it's going to make for an excellent addition alongside your buzzer, your Ripper, your Zartan, your Zorana. I think the Dreadnoks corner of the IP there on your display shelves is really coming to life. The flame effects are really cool as well. I think they've done a great job with those, just really adding to your opportunity with regards to display, photography, storytelling, all that kind of good stuff. I saw a few folks after the digital render out and about giving it having a word about the fact that they've reused the Dr. Mindbender boots, but I don't mind them so much. I think they're a good fit. I think they look all right. I don't know, what do you guys think? And it says Ripper and Buzzer were a bit of a disappointment because of the lack of a backpack. They just feel a little unfinished. Yeah, that flaming torch has to be seen staring down the barrel. Yeah, because from the side there, it doesn't look quite as exciting as the digital renders indicated that it might be. But I think when you're looking down the barrel. On the backpack front, I mean, it wasn't something I particularly mentioned. I've got Buzzer and Ripper down here, actually. But I can see what you mean. What might have been nice if on the chainsaw and on the Jaws of Life, they just put a peg in or like some sort of strap situation so that you could plug the weapon in on the back when you're arming them up with the small arms, maybe, or something. I don't know. But that's obviously not an issue with Torch that we're looking at here because he's ready to go. He's got his gasoline. Is it Crimson Twin Boots or is it Dr. Mindbender? In fact, I've got Crimson Guard. Sorry. No, it's definitely Dr. Mindbender. Yeah, look. Autofocus, put it in front of my face. Yeah, look, it's the Mindbender boots. Definitely. Although, does it look like Torch's buckle is paint applied there? I can't really see. The Crimson Guards don't go quite as high up, do they? Yeah, it's definitely Mindbender. 100%. 100%. But that leather vest, I mean, look at that with the paint applications on the zips, each of the little buckles on the straps across the front are paint applied, the little bird's head skull around the neck and the studs on his choker. That's really awesome. And those flame tattoos up his arms there, just definitely a standout figure in that regard. And I love the nice, neat little touches. So the belt loops on his chain belt there with the skull on the buckle are, the paint application's got the denim belt loops in, and those are just the little fine detail, the attention to detail touches that you get from the G.I. Joe Classified team that really set it apart. I know I've been whinging a lot about McFarlane Toys lately, but just earlier today at lunchtime I was having a scooch through on Facebook, and there's a new Superman that's just recently started to ship in North America, and they've not painted his belt on the back where the belt is obscured by the cape. They've not painted the yellow all the way around, so it's just red like the rest of his trunks. And when you see things like that going on, and then you see stuff like chain belts with painted belt loops and all the zips and studs and spikes and everything all done, you think, well, that's just the next level, isn't it? And he's got 2 pistols, so he can do his whole John Woo type thing. Yeah, Torch, I'm really into Torch. Very excited to receive this guy. Let's just have a look at the promo photo there. So this is obviously the posed version of it that their in-house photography guy, I've forgotten his name, has taken. And the way he's set the lighting up to sort of illuminate that flame effect. Oh, actually, oh no, look, there you go. You can see the skull from face on. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better there, doesn't it? I didn't notice that before. That looks much better. Yeah, I'm really into the way the photographer has lit this so that the flame effect is sort of illuminated there. That's really awesome. I had a little go. I was playing around with that myself the other day with my my new Mafex X Factor Cyclops and tried a bit of red lighting. I've got this kind of this lamp that you can change the colours on, and I was trying to get a bit of red light going down the eye beam, but I didn't quite get it right. It was sort of reflecting off his face too much and made him look a bit too a little bit too over illuminated. So, but it's a learning game, you know. I'll get there with the photography. Curtis is liking the details. Eric there looks like the blowtorch pins to the backpack too. Always nice to be able to stow it away. Oh, really? Okay, hang on. Let me go back a picture. Yeah, okay. So what are we talking about there? So because that little peg on the side, that'll be for the piping, won't it? The cord to the I don't know, what do you call it? The flamethrower gun? What's there? Any of you guys firearmsy people know what what the different parts of it? So you would call that backpack a tank, wouldn't you? That'd be the tank, maybe. And then, do you call the flamethrower bit? Is that the actual flamethrower, or is the whole thing the flamethrower? Eric's called it the blowtorch in his comment. Anyway, looks like it fits to the trigger guard. Yeah, sure, but I'm asking whereabouts, Eric. So that peg on the sides for the tubing, isn't it? So is there another peg? Hang on, what's Eric seeing that I'm not? You can't see my mouse. I'm circling my mouse over it, like you guys can see what I'm circling my mouse over. Looking forward to Torch to come out that way. Barbecue has something to do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things, isn't it, with the line? So the fact the dreadnoughts are starting to flesh out a little bit, or you've got that little the kind of Arctic. Snowy folks that started to flesh out a little bit, but you got these little kind of corners that are just getting brought to life a little bit more. So the kind of barbecue torch. Did the two of them go at it at any point in the comics or in the cartoons? I've rewatched the cartoons recently. I don't recall necessarily that being the case. But yeah, Torch. I think Torch is looking really good. Interesting choice that they've sculpted the glasses on. I don't think that's a big deal, to be honest. I don't. My Ripper and my Buzzer have never been on the shelf without their glasses on. I think other than doing that stylish sort of walking, putting your glasses on photo that I like to do when I first received them, but they haven't been on display down there for the entire duration of their time on that little on the new figures shelf down there. They've not been without their glasses, so I don't think it's a big deal particularly. I think that's quite a popular choice to sculpt it in. Look at the sides and the big handlebar. Maybe I should do that. What do you reckon, guys? Shave this bit off in the middle there. And see if I can make myself look like Torch. Anyway, there we go. There's Torch. There's the first one out of the gate. Yeah, Curtis likes the sculpted glasses. Yeah, my Buzzer's glasses fall off all the time. I'm forever putting them back on. There's a little kind of bit of flooring there that's a bit wibbly wobbly where this little shelf bit is here. And sometimes if I spin my chair this way to get out of it and walk that across, it gives a little wobble, just enough that his glasses fall off. And the Baroness falls over all the time as well. That crappy Baroness. But anyway, there we go, Torch. So, yeah, I think it looks like we're all of a like mind. Me and the chat there, we're all on board. Screw Buzzer's glasses. Yeah. Sorry, can I swear? I don't know what the YouTube rules are. I can swear on Twitch. Did I mark it as not for kids? All right, whatever. Fuck Buzzer's glasses. They got glued on pretty quick, for sure. So there we go, there's Torch. Right, let's see who I've loaded up in the little image gallery next. Jinx. Okay. And again, just second figure into the wave, and I think that's another banger, don't you guys? I think that's awesome. Not to repeat myself too much from when I did the coverage on the digital renders, but what I particularly like about this is it's the perfect example of what G.I. Joe Classified is all about, striking that balance between the contemporary and the new and the modern, with those kind of vestigial, nostalgic echoes to what we know and love from the past, and twanging that nostalgic little string inside ourselves. So you've got the little touches like the blindfold for that for the classic blindfold scene from the movie. You've got the ninja scarf head swap, the color scheme, obviously the overall theme, the weapon choices. All very in line with that kind of vintage look and feel and that nostalgic look and feel. But they've modernized it, so, no janky late 80s mullet on there. They've updated kind of the hair sculpt to be something a little bit more contemporary and better looking. The gi, is that how you pronounce it? The gi has been updated, so it doesn't look like just a set of big baggy pajamas on it. It looks a lot more practical and action-orientated. I'm so happy they didn't use the awful Akiko book. Are the legs not Akiko's? I don't know if the legs are Akiko's or not. Hey! Yeah, absolutely, Colonel Angus. So just for any new arrivals that have come in, the Full Force podcast, Diagnostic 80 over at the Full Force podcast, my namesake, Chris over there, has been dropping some early leaks for tomorrow's streams. Just the pre-orders. We'll talk about predictions for anything outside of this. And I've mastered the live stream settings, so I thought I'd give it a quick go and see if I could talk non-stop about these. So lovely to have you here, everyone. This is Colonel Angus, a regular around the channel, regular commenter, very much valued member of the Mod Extra Games and Collectibles viewing community. A pleasure to have you, my man. Oh, and Crusty Old Crow. Hello, Crusty Old Crow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking about Jinx right now. So let's just have a look, see what everyone's saying in chat. So the Akiko book, yeah, that's what we were talking about. So are those not Akiko's legs? I'm not very... My personal attention to detail around this stuff is not always great. Making the characters definitely match the Energon Universe comics. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in a previous live stream, Lenny called that out specifically, didn't he, to say that they're trying to line up with what's going on with the Skybound stuff at this moment in time. Obviously, they introduced on some of the plastic-free packaging, the artwork on the covers have had the Energon crystals, didn't they, and stuff. So they're certainly seeking to make sure there's a little bit of kind of marketing synergy going along the two, which I think is obviously a sensible choice, because folks like us are reading the comics alongside collecting the new figures. Ah, right. Eric's had a look. He doesn't think it is Akiko's legs. Thank you very much, my man. Eric would know better than me, because he pulls his figures apart and has a better sense of it. Or Blue Ninja, maybe? Is that what did the Blue Ninja, the female Blue Ninja? Oh, Eric. Great minds, Eric. Great minds think alike. Eric's just said the same thing in chat. So, yeah, I really like this. Really loving this figure. I think it's an excellent addition to the G.I. Joe side of the shelf. I love that nostalgic, vestigial feel that acknowledges the history of the character and what our loving memories of her appearance in the movie and the comic books, but modernised, giving it that extra modern twist. Yeah, hi, Scott. So the tattoos is on everything, isn't it? So Torch... If we go back a couple of pictures there, although I particularly like Torch's tattoos there, the flame torches. They're just slamming them little tattoo paint applications all over the shop, aren't they? They're really good, though. I think I was well impressed with Ripper's tattoo. You know, his like little his demon. His fuzzy demon thing that he had going on. I suppose this gets debated and talked about a lot across the action figure collecting community around the idea that Hasbro owning the G.I. Joe intellectual property themselves gives you a lot more freedom to and probably a little bit more budget to do things like that, which you don't see in the Marvel Legends or the Black Series side of things. And it's those little touches, I think, that make us more excited about a G.I. Joe Classified. You know, I'm here doing a live stream, a pre-stream on tomorrow on Hasbro's own stream about the G.I. Joe Classified, but I've not said word one about all the stuff that was revealed in the Marvel Legends stream last week. If we've still got the energy and we're still live streaming, you want to talk about that in a minute, we can do. I can load up some pickies, but... yeah, it's the tattoo stuff there's a lot of it going on, but I'm appreciative of it. I think it adds that extra bit of depth and that extra bit of life to the characters there. So yeah, Jinx is looking good. I think there was a promo photo as well. Oh yeah, Bobby. So if there is anyone new around who's getting involved in the chat that we want to loop into the Joe Bro Discord. Many of us here, myself included, all know each other from a little Discord area where we get together to talk about G.I. Joe Classified and a bazillion other things. So Bobby or Eric or Curtis or Antoine, any of the guys here from the Joe Bro crowd, if you want to drop the link into chat. I think I've allowed links, which is not recommended behaviour on your YouTube live streams, but I think I've allowed links. In the future, now that I've kind of cracked this nut, I'll make sure I've got some buttons going to fire some stuff off. It's smart. The original 82 to 94 line had those Eco Warriors. The Eco Warriors. Yeah, Emily and Lenny declared nothing's off limits. I saw that interview, yeah, where they said nothing's off limits. So I was... sorry, I was momentarily distracted. I was just glancing at that promo photo of Jinx and Torch there that I've put up. Torch's gas tank that's not attached to his leg there, is it? Yeah, no worries, Eric. What I'll do is I'll make sure I've got some commands that I can fire off with me little button thing down here. Crustio. Yeah, sure. Well, you know, give it a go. Discord is basically just like a AOL chat room, but that's the more modern version with a little bit more functionality. So you should, and Colonel Angus, if you're still around, you should come join us in the Joe Bro chat. I think you'd be great additions, guys. Absolutely. So yeah, really great promo shot there, but I've talked Jinx to death. So let's have a look who we've got next on the list. Let's move it forward to the Night Creeper. Here it is. In fact, the promo photo. So I know. Again, some of you guys have been valued members of the Mod Extra Games and Collectibles viewing community for a while, so you'll have seen my coverage of the digital renders. And I'm a bit off with army builders at the minute. I'm more engaged by the individual characters. But the promo photo, if I go to the next promo photo, doesn't that look fucking excellent? That looks brilliant with everything all loaded up on his backpack there. I've got to admit that as sort of disengaged as I am with the army builders right now, that picture has shifted my rankings a little bit, because look at it with the backpack. Everything loaded up on the backpack just looks amazing. That's, again, apologies to the gentleman in question, who I know we've met on live streams before, who does the photographs for him, but that is an awesome promo shot. What's Krusty Old Crow saying there now? I'm actually relieved Torch has his sunglasses attached this time. I had a horrid time with buzzers and his tiny ears. Oh, yeah, so you joined us a little late. That has been a topic of discussion already. Krusty Old Crow, I think you'll find that myself and the folks in chat are all in agreement with regards to buzzers' glasses. They're a pain in the arse. They're going to look fantastic posed up with Nunchuck and the other Ninja Force guys. Krusty Old Crow there saying that photo definitely makes me reconsider my first impressions as well. Yeah, I mean, look at it. Just bloody amazing. Let's go back to the kind of the white background main promo shot. So the accessory selection sets this guy apart from the crowd. I think that is all new sculpting, isn't it? Are those two curved knives appeared before? I know the hands are the Snake Eyes, aren't they? They're Snake Eyes' hands with the throwing star and the climbing claws. But otherwise, the backpack's new. The crossbow's new, is it? Yeah, I'm pretty confident the swords are new. Although I'd say that, who was it who was saying this to me? 3DJ, whatever his username was saying. Dude, you stop talking on a hot mic when you're just like, I think so, and guessing. And he's right. But I'm pretty confident with that statement. I like that the version 2 helmet's been thrown in there as a head swap. I think that's an excellent decision. So whatever your kind of historical experience with G.I. Joe, and when you were deep and heavy into the line, you can chop and change it about to suit your heart's desire there, which I think is really, really cool. Colour scheme's great. I like it when the Cobra shelf gets a little splash of colour up, a bit of flavour. So those purples and greys are really going to give him some shelf presence and set him apart from the crowd too. And just the fact that he's freaking awesome. That whole little martial arts corner of the G.I. Joe IP is definitely also building a little bit of a bit of presence. But again, just like we were saying with Torch and just like we were saying with Jinx, look at the attention to detail stuff that's gone into this. Painted belt buckle. I love it when they bother to paint a belt buckle. I know that it's such a minor thing, but I get so frustrated when the belt buckle is the same colour as the belt. And the camouflage pattern on the pants, the sculpting of like the shin armor and the braces on his wrists and his shoulder pads there. Just all these little extra touches of detail that really set it apart from the crowd. Obviously a figure where you can pack all your gear, aside from the hand swaps and the head swaps, of course, all on the figure. But that attention to detail stuff and the metallic paint job on the visor and the chest plates and the belly plate. The ab plate there looks really good too. They're just setting themselves apart from the crowd so incredibly well. So incredibly well. I can't blow enough smoke up Lenny and his team's arse, because that's looking really awesome. And let's just pause for a minute and have a little drool over that promo photo again. Look at that. Just outstanding. Just outstanding. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't have much else to say. Good value, innit? Just good value for money with all the gear in there. Lots of options for your posing, for your displaying. If any of you guys are photographers, you can do loads of stuff. Eric, I suppose I would throw the question out. Any of these stand out as good, solid, potential custom fodder? If you've got some kit bash ideas, let us know if you have. I'd be curious. It'll sync well with the new Night Viper. Yeah, for sure. There's so I've not read it yet. 303. It's on the shelf down there. I'll get it to it. I think isn't there a Creeper, an Alley Viper, and a Night Viper all sort of getting up to no good in Ara 303, the new issue, or 304, whichever one's just come out. I've not read Duke 3 yet either, guys. I got my shipping notification from my pull list on Monday. I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be here on Wednesday on time. Here we are on Wednesday. No pull list has arrived. I don't know what is going on with the comic distribution over here at the minute. Needs a raise. Yeah, I don't know. Curtis, have you not read the news about Hasbro lately? Ain't nobody getting a raise over there except for that cock guy. 304. Thanks, Krusty Old Crow. But yeah, it's a Night Creeper, is it? I flicked through just to have a look at the artwork. I've not read it proper yet, but I think there's a little squad of Cobra army builder types getting up to no good, isn't there? So yeah, there we go. Night Creeper. What more can be said? I was not as excited by that one when I saw the digital renders, but now my excitement has increased a great deal, and I was going to pre-order it anyway. But now it's locked in. It's firm decision. Is Dawn Marino the... yeah, sorry. I was having a special moment then. Right, let's have a look who's next. Norgahide. Here we go. Norgahide's next. He's quite hard to see there. Sorry, I'll try and set it up so I can zoom in next time. But the detail stuff is looking great, isn't it? Everything we saw in the digital render has come to life in the actual 3D plastic figure there. The only thing I can't really make out, excuse me, the only thing I can't really make out is whether the texture of the vest, the waistcoaty vest thing, is the same as what was indicated, the kind of furriness of it. But I'm pretty sure it is if I squint and lean in. So that's really nice to see. Again, the paint applications on the stud, paint applications on the buckle, the animal skin pattern on the on the vest, and he's got the teeth and stuff all over the place with his necklace and on his hat and such like. Hat is removable, as we all predicted when we saw the digital render when he was wearing it. He looks a bit goofy, but I think he's supposed to look a bit goofy. If you've seen the DIC cartoon series, then you know he is a bit of a goofy guy, and so that sort of overbitey teeth thing that they got going on there makes him look suitably on character goofy, not goofy in a Falcon kind of way, or a McFarlane Toys head sculpt kind of way. even his own head sculpt looks freaking goofy. So that's all good. Yeah, the reuse legs, the Roadblock reuse legs, fine, just functional. They do what they need to do. He's got jeans on, a knee pad. Adding to my classified zoo, yeah, for sure. The animal selection looks great. I love the little macaw. Is he macaw? Macaque? I don't know. Even though he's not articulated, which is a bit of a shame, I am loving the monkey. I am loving the monkey effort there with the eye patch and the screaming face. In fact, the next promo picture that was knocking around on Instagram, again, credit to Full Force Podcast, where I've robbed these from. That's an awesome little action shot with the warthog and with the monkey there, whose name's forgotten. Pork Belly and... oh, God, I've forgotten the monkey's name. Someone remind me of the monkey's name. I had it written down when I did the digital renders, but I don't even know where my notebook is right now. So yeah, that's a lovely little action shot. I'm curious to know whether, so the way the monkey's mounted on Pork Belly there, whether you can do the same on Norgahide's shoulder, which would be nice. I think looking at it, it's in the realms of possibility, like the way the hands are curved over and the legs, so it looks like it's got a kind of clamping sort of shape, engineering shape to maybe sit on Norgahide's shoulder, which would be nice. Yeah, or something. So I mentioned in passing, I said like the Timon and Pumbaa are classified, and then I saw someone say Hakuna Matata earlier. So I think, again, there's a little bit of groupthink about what these two represent. We're getting so much kit in these now. Do you get the feeling a Night Force 2-pack is inbound, given the Mad Marauders release and Tiger Force 2-pack? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Or something of that nature, for sure. Yeah, something of that nature. I had him. Sorry, trying to talk and think at the same time. So the only downside of Norgahide, the thing that disappoints me the most, and again, apologies for those who have been with me for a while for the repeat myself, just the low light gun case and gun, the shadow tracker, compound bow and quiver. You know, it's just a shame that his weapon selection isn't up to scratch. I mean, I think I know some of you guys felt the same way about Lowlight's rifle in general when Lowlight got it. But Norgahide's, he's a poacher. He's a hunter. He should have an absolute beast of a rifle, something really big and intimidating that can take down, some massive prairie animals or whatever. And that just doesn't look like it could do it to me. The sniper rifle's not as exciting or interesting, is it, comparable to some of the other weapons? And over here in the UK, the idea of perhaps picking up a Gridiron Studios replacement for that is just a non-starter, because they're already pretty expensive. Let's call it out for what it is. But then when I throw my shipping and tax on there, it doubles the cost. So, but I've got plenty of stuff in the bits box. I can have a play around with that. But yeah, I just think the weapon selection could have perhaps done with. Mind you, that said, they can't be sculpting brand new weapons for every figure every single time, can they? Let's get real, And I really would prefer that they're producing figures with sculpting detail like we've seen with all four of these so far, and get a little bit lazy around the weapons than have half of both, if you know what I mean. At least reprint Snowjaw's rifle. Yeah, so Snowjaw's rifle would have been a great choice, I think. Yeah. Low Lights is a pretty expensive print to start with. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, because it's all the separate pieces. You can construct the rifle. Yeah, you should have an elephant gun. Yeah, absolutely. A beast of a rifle that can do some real damage to some wildlife. You know what I mean? Because that's what the guy's all about. So yeah, that's a bit of a downside. The robot legs don't bother me as much as they appear to bother Charlog. They're just what they are. They're functional. And I think, you know, the visual identity piece of the character in terms of the head sculpt and the accoutrement in the waist up are sufficient for me to give the guy a bit of life. I was thinking about it the other day. It's only my front row on my spice racks there. It's only the front row that you ever get the full the full length view of the figure anyway. So it's all good. It's all good. So there we go. There's Norgahide, and yeah, the animal stuff is great. Look at the articulation there on pork belly. Oh, it's the tiny feet. Okay, yeah, I can see that actually. Yeah, the feet are a bit weeny, a bit Rob Liefeld. But the articulation here on pork belly in particular, love the nose ring as well. Again, little splash of flavour, little splash of character to bring it to life. One of the tusks has been, you know, knocked out. It's all adding to that narrative storytelling piece that you really want there, and it's very, very exciting stuff. All right, we're ready to move on from Norgahide. Let's see who's next. So who have we had? We've had Torch. Oh, I know who's next. It's Doc. So this is the only picture that was knocking around on socials, but I'll repeat. The Full Force podcast is simultaneously live to me right now, and their thumbnail, Chris's thumbnail on his stream, indicated that he might have more pictures over and above these, which he's posted up on Instagram. So you're probably missing good stuff over there, folks. Because you sat here with me, some long-haired guy from Manchester. But here's Doc. And I got to say, I think this is possibly shifted down to the bottom of the ranking for this wave for me. I feel like everyone's forgotten about his feet and ankles. So we'll circle back round to that crusty old crow, because I was looking at the Bloodstripe figures on Big Bad Toy Store yesterday or the day before. When was it? When were we talking about it in Discord? I was looking at the big boots and thinking, well, that's inaccurate. But here we go, Doc. Yeah, so I'd probably say that of the of everything we've seen now in 3 dimensions outside of the digital renders, I was really excited about Doc, and I thought the digital render looked amazing. But now I've seen the figure, I'm a bit underwhelmed, to be honest. And I can't quite put my finger on why this hasn't come to life for me as much as the digital render. Maybe it's because he's not got the glasses on, and he had the glasses on in the digital render or something, which is a shame, because actually, fundamentally, that's a good figure. It's a good figure. I'm just so spoiled, really, by G.I. Joe Classified. They're a great figure that I'd be thankful for in any other line. I'm like, of the 5 in the wave, that's probably now the 5th, and it used to be my first, which is such a thing to kind of say, you know. Excited to have a medic. Definitely need someone to treat all the injuries from man-child playtime. Yeah, definitely. Although Doc's not my medic guy. My medic guy is what's his name? Lifeline. I want the full red top to bottom. Hey there, Real Zim. How you doing, man? Welcome. So yeah, it's curious to me that actually from a couple of weeks ago, looking at the digital renders, to today, and getting a bit of excitement up for the new the stream that's coming tomorrow. This guy has shifted, and I can't really put my finger on why. Crusty Old Crow says, love the Dot, but I'd rather he had a larger med bag than 2 smaller add-ons, good as they look. Yeah, I like this idea of, so this has come from the 60th anniversary figures, hasn't it? This idea of this sort of modular plug-in pouch type thing. That's a real plus, a real bonus. I did wonder, I speculated as to whether the torch and the pen, the blue pen and the red torch up at the top here, were removable and usable as accessories. I thought maybe when I saw the digital render they were, but now seeing this, I'm less leaning in that direction. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think the pen and the torch are... Hey, how you doing, Jonathan? You okay, Jono? So I'm less inclined to think that that's the case, which is a bit of a shame actually, because I would like to have been able to kind of put the torch in his hand, you know, testing a soldier's eyes and all that. But the taser's good, the flare gun's good, the helmet's good, the glasses are good. Maybe the head sculpt isn't quite as exciting or engaging as the digital render initially indicated it might be. Don't know, what do you guys think? I'm open to suggestions if anyone can help me pin down what it is about this 3-dimensional reveal that we're going to get tomorrow Now, this could all change in 24 hours anyway, because we'll see. Lenny will get it out on his turntable. He'll start spinning it around, and I'll be taking a closer look. And my rankings around the my rankings around the wave will probably shift and alter again. Love the vest. We'll see that with leather neck and footloose vest from the sound of things. Modular parts make my conversion side smile. Yeah, it's so I think some of you folks have the divers started dropping, hasn't it, in North America? But we've not seen the soldier yet, the infantryman, and the infantryman's got the same setup, hasn't he? In fact, is that not a reuse of, or some partial reuse of the infantryman plugin? Yeah, so Jonathan's saying in chat there, I wonder if the stretcher can attach to the Dragonfly. And I've heard that speculated about underneath the Full Force Podcast's Instagram post where I robbed these pictures from. I think somebody was saying they think it can. But I'm not sure. But I suspect, Lenny, Emily and Tony are very well tuned into us as the customer base, and I suspect Lenny will make mention of that tomorrow in their own live stream around the practicalities and the functionality of that stuff. I'm pretty sure they know it's something that many want. We'll come to the speculation on that in a minute, Jono. But I did ask folks in the chat as we're going along if you've got any predictions as to what we might see in addition to these that have leaked early today. Because that's the thing now. So that's the last one on my pickies there. That's my last one on the pickies. But the fact that these have leaked a day early and they've come out through Full Force Podcast, which is kind of like a content creator partner nowadays with the G.I. Joe Classified team. That leads me to suspect, as I said at the top of the live stream, that we're clearly going to get more in addition to what's been leaked there. That's just going to be a quick bang through, get them on the turntable, show off the figures. Tony and Lenny will talk a little bit about their design process on them, and Emily will come in and say, okay, pre-orders available at 5 o'clock tonight for Pulse members, 6 o'clock tonight for non-Pulse members, kind of thing. But we've got a number of name-only reveals out there, haven't we, right now? Let me get my list up. Get my keyboard here. One sec, I'll just get my list up. I don't know if I can... I don't know how I'm going to share the list, so I'll just read them out, if that's okay. Although I think I'm a little bit behind. I started that little Google sheet, that upcoming releases Google sheet, and then I felt a little bit behind because I couldn't figure out how to filter by type. So Night Creeper. So let's have a look. Yeah. So we've seen the Night Creepers. Ferret. Retro Beachhead. We've not seen Retro Beachhead yet. Retro Eel. Retro Snow Serpent. The Raptor. The Iron Grenadier. Nemesis Enforcer. There's two missing off that list. Spacey Dude. A Flighty Dude. Oh my god. I should have been better prepared before I start talking on our live mic, shouldn't I? Or I should just keep my list up to date. I might have it in here, one sec. He's clicking around in his old folders here to see. Yeah, Retro Cobra Commander and Starduster. There it is. Yeah. Oh, and Xandar. Yeah, Xandar's been announced too. So my list is definitely a little bit out of date. So whether we see some digital renders, historically with their streams, we've seen they drop a couple of name onlys, 3 or 4 name onlys at the top of the stream. Then a few. Then what I suspect they'll probably do is move into the hands-on look at this stuff here, and then they'll drop in a few cheeky digital renders at the end to get us excited. Now, whether those digital renders we see are going to be digital renders of some of these name-only reveals, I'm particularly interested and curious to see the Nemesis Enforcer, or Nemesis Immortal, whatever they're calling him, because I think that's going to be a very interesting sculpt and an interesting character, like straying into a newer space in the G.I. Joe IP for the classified line. So it'll be interesting to see. More info on the ferret, says Jono. The SMS, yeah. Retro carded figures, retro carded Major Blood would be sweet. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I like Major Blood. In fact, he's one of those very early pickups that I had from the line, who I've just kind of repeatedly sort of come back to time and time again. I think he just looks great with the infantry troopers and stuff. There's like a good kind of cohesive vibe, isn't there, around it all? And I like his bionic arm and his colour combo. Crusty Old Crow says they confirmed on a recent news drop that it will connect to the Dragonfly. Okay, brilliant. There you go. There we go. But they also said in a recent interview on the Full Force podcast, nothing is out of the realms of possibility. Nothing's off limits, and it's such a broad, it's wide and as deep with options. So I would be definitely inclined to think that there's, they like to keep a little cheeky something up the sleeve, don't they? I'd be disappointed if there isn't a cheeky something. Oh, perhaps a surprise Triple T announcement to make us reconsider that Mad Marauders feedback. Yeah. So the Triple T, I mean, there was a lot of speculation, wasn't there? Because the Triple T appeared in the background of the General Hawk artwork. And with the Mad Marauder, I'll tell you what I would like is the Little Slaughters Marauder team from the movie. What's it called? Mercer and oh god, names. I'm dreadful with names. What's the three guys? Mercer and Beatstick Dude and Bold Scary Guy. Jesus Christ, Chris. Yeah. Here's a guy who really knows his G.I. Joe stuff. Anyway, Full Force Podcast is live right now. Oh, dear. So, yeah, a bit of a cheeky surprise. The Renegades, there it is, thank you. A little cheeky surprise would be... I'd be excited to see a little cheeky surprise, because I'm just definitely in the space where this is a line I just want to continue to consume. Taurus, Mercer, Red Dog, and Falcon. Falcon, obviously. But yeah, it's definitely a line that I just kind of want more all the time, just want to consume. As much as my wallet regrets that statement, or my Visa card regrets that statement, it's just a line that I just want to consume. So I would be very excited to see a little cheeky reveal. I know a lot of folks out there, speculation or hopeful speculation, I suppose, around vehicles, wanting to see some more kind of vehicle stuff. I'm not big on the vehicles. Well, let me rephrase that. I love the vehicles. I love the G.I. Joe vehicles. I absolutely recognise what an important part they play to the identity and the play experience of collecting G.I. Joes, particularly when you talk about that kind of nostalgic callback to back in the day. It's just that with limited space and limited budget, there has to be a part of collecting this line that's got to be on the chopping board for me, and it's the vehicles. I just Serpentor's Air Chariot and Scrap Irons, rocket launcher and stuff is about the furthest extent. I've got no room for a vamp. I've got no room for dragonflies and his tags. It's just not reality. Although I was sat here the other day kind of looking at the ceiling going, I could maybe start suspending stuff from the ceiling. Just in an effort to try and maximise the space that surrounds me to fit more stuff in, Do you think there will be any hints towards this year Rattler HasLab, seeing as it's already... It's leaked? Has it? Is that a thing? I didn't hear that. Jono, tell us more. I need more. I didn't hear that. When did they... when? Where? What? What was said? We need more on that. It's a real issue at the 16 scales. Yeah, the vehicles are just too big. I'd have loved to his tank. I was very excited. Eric, Miggs and Eric and I and Dwight got on Dwayne got on a call, and he showed off his, and I was so jealous, but I just can't, there has to be a practical reality that must be acknowledged there with regards to fitting the vehicles in. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It's just not going to happen. In fact, Colonel Angus asked me, I don't know if Colonel Angus is still here, asked me a while ago to do like a collection show and tell, folks. I'll come back to Jonathan's comment there because that's very interesting. A collection reveal, and obviously I considered it because whenever someone puts something in the comments, you put it on the suggestion list. I thought, well, who wants to just look at? I mean, you can't see over here. Maybe I will do just one day to demonstrate. But I've got big blue container boxes. I've got a cupboard that's literally 2.5 meters deep. And then there's 3 shelves up there, and the vast majority of my collection is just stored in these big. In fact, hang on, wait a minute. Bit of a momentary tangent here, but you see the container boxes. Now that goes back about 2.5 meters there, folks. There's 2 of each of these big deep boxes, and more boxes right at the back corner with my collection going all the way back to. Well, I got rid of a lot of stuff, so it goes all the way back to about the 90s. Can you still hear me? I'm nowhere near my microphone right now. So a collection walkthrough video. I'm not like these guys who've got these wonderful kind of IKEA Dettol displays, all with interior lighting up their figures, all the teams, all organised up, all the different factions and whatever in the Marvel Legends and stuff. So. I've just had to say no to vehicles, because they'll end up. I'll play with them a little bit, and they'll end up on the floor somewhere around here, and then they'll go in one of those containers. No containers are full. I got rid of a load of stuff. I lament this every day. I got rid of a load of stuff that I owned through the 80s and 90s, and then sort of started rebuilding a bit of a collection through the noughties. And when you get your own place, you start going back and getting stuff. But there's boxes in there with DC Direct figures from. The late 90s, early 2000s that I haven't seen the light of day since, I don't know, well, since some of them were on the shelf decorating my dorm room when I went to university 25 years ago, you know what I mean? So this whole collection thing, I've got my bookshelves here and I've got my display space there. So anyway, getting back on point, I'm in the weeds. The vehicle thing is just a non-starter for me. However, as a member of the community, and of course my Joe Bros, I know are very excited about vehicles. I would love to see something in the vehicle space just for the community, because I know there's a lot of people who really love the vehicle experience, value it as part of their G.I. Joe experience. And while it is a challenge at the 6-inch scale, it's a part of what we remember, our living room carpet playtime when we were 10 years old kind of thing. So 100% agree with the... hang on, no, let's go back a little bit. So let's go back to Jonathan Redmond's comments there. Rattler for Classified and Fing Fang Foom for Marvel Legends is what I've heard from a few sources now. That's interesting. So Fing Fang Foom... Yeah, Fing Fang Foom is like one of those characters for the Marvel Legends. Hang on, let me go to full screen. For Marvel Legends is one of those situations where it could be absolutely amazing and look great and just mind-blowingly tremendous, or they'll just really super miss the mark and nothing in between, I think. Because, it's obviously just an epic, grand character. But I like what they've done with Giant Man. Again, I've not gone in on it. It's not, again, budget and space. But I like what they've done with Giant Man, and I think it's got a real good vibe about it. I know some people have been critical, but I'm like, yeah, it looks decent. It looks like a good effort. Their Galactus is good. Their Sentinel's good. So I think Fang Foom could be pretty awesome. What the Marvel Legends team, I don't find them all that great at their kind of finer detail sculpting that you might want for a giant sort of mythical dragon type character. Are they capable and they've just kind of not explored that space much? Yeah, interesting. And Rattler for classified. I mean, Rattler would be super popular. Um, Rattler would be super popular. I one vehicle that I owned when I was a kid. I used to love my Rattler and my Wild Weasel. That's the thing that bugs me with the HasLabs actually. Like the one thing I'm really desperate for them to do is reveal a Wild Bill, like a retro carback Wild Bill or something, because I really feel like I'm missing out on that character that I definitely have fond memories of, and a very kind of key central figure in a lot of the old Action Force comics that I used to read when I was a lad. The UK version of G.I. Joe. He was on the cover a lot, flying dragonflies and strikers. So, and that would be the same with the Rattler, because it would obviously have to be. It's Wild Weasel, isn't it? Yeah. Is it? He's had a moment's doubt. So again, I'd be like, I haven't got the space or the money to go drop on a big aircraft, but the characters that they then put in, and I think with the Hiss tank and with the Dragonfly, they've more or less struck the right balance between making it something special and different for those who are going in on the HasLab, but leaving the door open to be able to do re-releases, like the retro Cobra Commander that they've mentioned. Let's see what else. 100% agree with you. Snowspeeder, 89 Batmobile, and the Dragonfly is my limit. Yeah, I didn't go in on the 89 Batmobile either, just for the same reason. Marvel Legends needs a home run. That line has been flapping for a bit now. Yeah. It's I mean, some of you folks know that I dip my toe into Marvel Legends a little bit. I'm an X-Men guy from the 90s. And so I generally focus my collecting Marvel Legends-wise around the X-Men, but I've started to expand. I've just picked up the Hawkeye, actually. Talking about not having room for vehicles, and then I got the Hawkeye on the Sky Cycle. But this, right, so this is a Avengers 60th anniversary. This has just become a general rambling stream right now, so let me know if you ever want me to stop, because I've kind of moved on from the G.I. Joe stuff. But I wanted the Hawkeye because I fancied in my Marvel Legends collection just having a kind of core Avengers team. I picked up the Black Widow because I wanted to kind of take a look at and see what the new female book was like. I've got the anniversary, the 80th anniversary Captain America, the 80th anniversary Hulk, all picked up at discount, my ad. And then this guy in a store over here called Game, which I think is the UK subsidiary of GameStop for you guys over there. This was 28 quid. And how long ago did that come out? Early winter, autumn last year. And it'd gone down from the, whatever it was, 50 quid to 28 quid, which is basically only a couple of quid more than you would just pay for the figure over the shelf anyway. So I was like, I don't really want the Sky Cycle. I'll give it to my son and he can drop it in his toy box and just integrate that into his random toy collection or something. But I wanted the Hawkeye. But now what's happening is I'm looking about going, well, what's a good Iron Man to add to that? And if I'm getting an Iron Man, I need a Thor and then maybe a Doctor Strange. And then, well, if I'm doing that, then I've got to have a Scarlet Witch and a Vision. And I'm on a slippery slope. It's getting out of hand. So even though I always said my Marvel Legends collecting was going to be contained to just X-Men characters that I like and love, that I have a resonating relationship with from reading the comic books in the 90s. I'm sliding down the slope. So let me just revisit chat. So Marvel Legends anyway, so that's what got me onto talking about that. The Marvel Legends needs a home run. Yeah, but Hawkeye just fell over. I didn't put him back on the shelf very well. Yeah, I think they do. But the problem is somebody. In fact, someone from the Discord said this, and they made a great point, and they were right, because I was complaining about the hip swivel and saying that they really need to move on from that kind of hip, just sliced hip cut when you've got your G.I. Joe, your ball joint in there. Which is much better. A lot of the lines are now taking on the taking on that kind of ball joint waist. And the point they made in Discord was to say, well, yeah, and while we don't disagree with you, Chris, what you've got to remember is that the line's been around now for so long that any new release you come up with has still got to be able to integrate into your collection, so that there's evolution, but it's not so jarringly distant from the older figures in your collection. And I think that's a fair point, but yeah, Marvel Legends needs something. I've said a few times on a couple of reviews I've done lately that just a few simple touches like sculpted boots. Thinking of characters like Jean Grey and the White Queen, and they did the Dark Phoenix last year, didn't they? The Retro Combat Dark Phoenix. Just a bit of sculpting on things like the long gloves and the boots would just give it that. Would just step it forward a little bit, give it a little bit of evolution and a bit more depth and life, without straying too far outside of their sort of oeuvre that they have with Marvel Legends. But sometimes when I look at the figures, I think, well, that's just another Vulcan book, painted up different. It's flush spandex look. They've not even sculpted the boots on, And the ones I get more excited about are things like the animated Bishop. I know the animated lines and the comic book lines, it can be a contentious issue sometimes. But the fact that the sculpted on details, or the animated Cyclops has got with his straps down the front, and the way that's integrated into the ab crunch, so that it's not like just a weird rubbery overlay or a painted on piece. It's actually a sculpted piece that moves. And it needs a bit more of that, Real Zim's up for a rattler. Jonathan Redmond, 28 quid is a bargain for that Hawkeye and Sky Cycle. Yeah, I thought so. I obviously went for it. So it was Game. I think you're over in Dublin, Jono, but yeah, it was Game over here. In fact, Game have been superstars for bulk discounting. Just as a random side note, this is Mod Extra Games and Collectibles. They were selling a game. I don't know if there's many board gamers here, but a Reiner Knizia game, Equinox, the green box, which I picked up at the UK Games Expo for about 30 quid when it very first came out. And Game had that for 4 quid. 4 quid. Which is an absolute bargain, and it's a brilliant game if there's any board gamers around. So Game has been, really smashing it. And the anniversary Hulk and the anniversary Toad that I picked up were massively discounted at Game. So I definitely keep an eye on those guys. And sometimes HMV do huge discounts. So yeah, I went for it because I was like, well, the Sky Cycle might end up in one of my boxes over there, but I wanted the Hawkeye because I felt like my Black Widow needed a partner in crime, and Hawkeye seemed to work for me. But then Hawkeye, really, you want him with a Scarlet Witch and a Vision and a... Anyway, stop me. Someone stop me. Coming to London next week. How easy is a Valaverse line to find in retail? Am I going to have a difficult search? Yes, you are, Crusty Old Crow. Valaverse is like hen's teeth over here. So they had an independent retailer deal with a company over here that went belly up. And that was a controversial moment for a lot of us who collect military figures because, well, in fact the company that went belly up, they took everyone's money and did one, went bankrupt, and we all lost out. So my Valaverse pre-orders with them, which was Pandora and who's the lady with the painted face with the stripe across her eyes. And then there was a deal lined up with another independent retailer over here, which I think was Independent Toys off the top of my head, or Kapow. And they the deal fell through. And so Valaverse doesn't have a distribution partner over here. So if you want Valaverse figures in the UK, the only way you can get them is to ship them from the likes of Big Bad Toy Store or from Valaverse themselves, which of course then... as I mentioned earlier, the shipping and tax takes it outside the realms of reality, really, because they're already slightly inflated in price comparable to, say, G.I. Joe Classified. Valaverse sells for around 35 quid over here, or did sell for 35 quid over here when they had a retail partner, whereas I pick up my Classifieds for around 24, 25 quid, so there's a good 10 quid difference. And when you start looking at international shipping, it comes to... Well, Big Bad Toy Store tends to do it for about $8, but it's the tax man, you see. It's His Majesty's customs on the border that stings you. Sometimes some companies won't ship to you without paying the VAT up front. So you end up then with that either you pay the US tax on the payment on the item in the US, and then you pay the import tax bringing it into the country. So Valaverse, there's no real way. There's a few stores that have some the odd sprinkling of older stock. There's the odd Sergeant Slaughter knocking around from back in the early days, but you can't. Yeah, there's no way of getting Valaverse over here unless you ship it over. So I'm sorry to report, Krusty Old Crow, that when you're over in London, you'll not find Valaverse just on the shelf. That'll be a challenge for you, for sure. And I think you mentioned earlier in the chat that you're over in Canada. I think you'll find that your retail challenges in Canada are very similar for us over in the UK. In fact, possibly worse for us here in the UK. Jonathan Redmond wishes that Classified did the chest and hip swivel the same way that Black Series, SH Figure Arts and Mafex do. The figure just looks better overall, in my opinion. The cut just under the pecs is good. The problem with I look at Mafex and I look at SH Figure Arts. Although I'm not the biggest fan of SH Figure Arts groin area, I don't like the way they design that. But I do look at them. But the price over here, so I was looking at stuff like the Huntress, the DC Huntress, the Hush Huntress, and the Hush Batman caught my eye. And then they've got a Great Jean Grey and a Psylocke. So I was looking at the Psylocke, and there's like 110 quid, and I can't justify 110 quid for a 6-inch figure. I got the Mafex X Factor Cyclops. Kapow Toys had a flood, and they were just selling off stock super cheap that had water damaged boxes. But I got the figure, and everything inside was fine. It was just a floppy, soggy box, basically. And that's the only Mafex figure I own. I've got some older. Who did the stuff like the Reservoir Dogs and that? But I've got some older stuff. But yeah, I just can't justify the price as much as I would love to have some of them in my collection. I'd love to have Psylocke, that 90s style Jim Lee Psylocke that they did, and a Huntress would be great. And to have 6-inch DC figures as well. Some of you folks know I've been banging on about McFarlane and his 7-inch DC Multiverse line. How bobbins that is in a minute. Oh man, that's disappointing. I can't even find anyone who knows how to bring them here in Ottawa, Ontario. Yeah, sorry, dude. I can't speak to that over in Canada, but they're not as common over here at all. Similar experiences you guys have got out in the cold north there. Big Bad Toy Store or Valaverse themselves, Krusty, but shipping is a nightmare. Shipping is a nightmare. Tax. Desert Rat cost you €70. More than you pay for a Mafex from Japan. Oh, yeah. So who do you use to bring your Mafex over from Japan? I've seen a few websites knocking around, and I'm curious. I'll head over to the UK's anyway. Yeah, go check out Books Palace, Tower of London, London Eye. Plenty to do, my man. Hard Rock Cafe. In the basement of the Hard Rock Cafe, they've got John Lennon's military shirt that he wore at Madison Square Garden's concert. Got a few guitars in there. Highly recommend it. You don't buy Mafex in Ireland or the UK. You can nab them 45 to 55 from Japan. Tend to work around 60ish, including shipping. Yeah, so that's great. Yeah. Sorry, I hadn't read further down in the chat. You're basically talking in the space that I was curious about. Yeah, so I saw. What was the name of the company? I don't know, but they were a Japanese-based store that caught my eye, and I was like, But it's hard to know who's reliable and who's not, and especially when you're shipping from the east. But yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about doing, was buying stuff and bringing it over. Right, well, now I've stopped talking about G.I. Joe Classified. My view count has dropped significantly. But I've also been going for an hour and 10 minutes there, and it's 20 to 11, so I think I'm going to have to wrap that up. Thank you very much, folks, for coming along and joining me while I do a little bit of pre-release hype. Hobby Genki or Ami Japan. 50-50 chance to avoid import fees. Yeah, so if they just catch it at the border, catch it at the border. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate the advice, man. I'll check those both out. I'll be watching with interest tomorrow, as I know many of you guys will, around the G.I. Joe classified stream from Hasbro. And then just give me a shout, drop in the comments of this video, or DM me over on Insta or something if this worked for you, if it was enjoyable, if it's something that we think we can do more of. I'm happy to accommodate. It's quite easy actually, just turn on the camera and start talking and hope for the best, although you won't be getting sort of 3-hour jobs out of me like Lawrence over at Punk with Toys does or anything. Yeah, of course, Krusty O'Croll, you are more than welcome. Bobby, Eric, Jonathan, thanks for sticking around to the end. I'm going to go get a little bit of late supper and then put my head down. So I'll see you guys on the flip side next time. Take it easy, guys.